And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Peter Chan coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Sunday, November 24th, 2024. A lot of things to get through this evening. We're going to jump right in. Accumulating snow continues to spread across the interior from the west coast. An area of low pressure is crossing through Norton Sound and will be moving into the west central interior as we go through the late overnight and early Monday morning. There are a number of advisories and warnings from the west coast through the interior that'll take us into the early week. The northeastern Gulf Coast and the Panhandle will see a snowfall starting Monday morning there in the northeast Gulf Coast around Yakutat and then spreading southeastward that could linger into the day on Wednesday in some areas. But in the wake of these couple of weather systems, we're going to find fair and colder weather across much of the mainland as we lead up and past Thanksgiving Wednesday into Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it should be relatively quieter weather here by the time we get around and past midweek. Mountain Village this Sunday afternoon, a little light rain and fog, 34 degrees. This is common seen in the lower Yukon Delta, including Amonic, Hooper Bay, Chivak. As we go inland, though, it's cold enough still. Haisley there, snow and fog, 19 degrees. And the snow heavy at times. There is a winter storm warning for this particular area, south slopes of the Brooks Range down into the middle Yukon Valley. And then another area that's going to see snow developing tonight is the Susitna Valley along and east there of the Parks Highway, Talkeetna, overcast 25 degrees, but several inches of the snow is on the way as we go through tonight and during the day on Monday. And another spot, winter weather advisory, Yakutat, mostly cloudy now 34, but snow will be developing there, especially later Monday morning and Monday afternoon. And at least 4 inches of snow is expected in the Yakutat area, with other snow advisories in effect for around the Juneau area, but that doesn't really happen until later Monday evening and during the day on Tuesday, lingering into early Wednesday. So let's start from west to east. We have low pressure moving through Norton Sound now that will be pushing onshore here in through the middle Yukon Valley prior to daybreak. We still have winter weather advisories in effect along the Seward coastline, Norton Sound, and into the lower Yukon. And then winter weather advisories extending inland. And this winter storm warning is the one I'll be highlighting here. Southwest slopes here of the Brooks Range and up through the middle Yukon Valley. Yet another 6 to 10 inches of snow could fall tonight through the day on Monday. And that area of precipitation is expanding eastward up through the Tanana Valley and around Fairbanks, especially any of the higher terrain around those areas. Maybe 4 to 8 inches of snow falling from late tonight through Monday into Tuesday morning. And this area of precipitation will just continue eastward. It will actually push into the Yukon territory. And then we have moisture coming over the Alaska Range. This is a winter weather advisory for 4 to as much as 8 inches of snow, including areas around from Wasilla, Palmer, north through Talkeetna, up toward Cantwell. And as much as 4 to 8, maybe even 8 or 9, especially in some of the higher terrain like Hatcher Pass could easily pick up that kind of 8-9 inches of snow. And then there's a weak low down here in the northwestern Gulf. That's just going to kind of slowly work southeastward just off of the Panhandle coast. So as it links up with this moisture and the cold air that's in place, there could be some accumulating snow starting later on Monday morning through the afternoon around Yakutat. And then as we get into Monday night and Tuesday, that snow will spread gradually southeastward, kind of a prolonged event for this area here of the southeast, mainly periods of light to occasionally moderate snow. But when you get that over couple of day period, it can add up. So the areas that are more likely to get a little heavier snow may be around Juneau, as much as 4 to 12 inches depending on elevation and so forth. So again, just kind of stay tuned to later forecasts, but there could be some travel implications at least here prior to Thanksgiving as a result of that, though conditions will be improving across the interior by the time we get into later Tuesday and Wednesday. So we have the winter storm warning to highlight here that's north of Galena, Haisley areas here that include the south slopes of the western Brooks Range, upper Kobuk valleys and the lower Koyukuk Valley, and that's through Monday early morning. Heavy wet snow, 7 to 10 inches possible. And then here's kind of a map showing where some of the heavier snow falls. Hughes there 8 to 12 inches, Bettles 6 to 8 over toward Ambler, and pockets of some heavier snow possible too, even extending eastward at least 4 to 6 around Fairbanks, a little higher amounts in some of the surrounding higher terrain, White Mountains and around Esther Dome. And as we go down here along the Alaska Range, some of that moisture coming on over could provide some moderate to locally heavier snowfall in areas like Talkeetna, Skowetna, even down toward Wasilla and Palmer, several inches, at least maybe on the 3 to 5 inch range. But again, that'll be developing as we go through this Sunday night and during the day for Monday. So on the satellite imagery, Panhandle enjoying clear skies. The high pressure that's been over the Yukon Northwest Territories is weakening and heading southeastward across western Canada. Meanwhile, this push of moisture has come inland. The center of low pressure now is just pushing across Norton Sound. And as of this Sunday afternoon, we have this occluded front pressing inland. It has brought in a little warmer air. Temperatures are around or just above freezing. Nome down through the lower Yukon Delta. So there could be either some plain old rain or a little bit of freezing rain or sleet that's mixed in, but the more substantial snows, as I showed you, will be more here through the western interior as we go through tonight and into Monday. So late tonight, Monday morning, the low is pushed inland, pushing up the middle Yukon Valley. We have a secondary low off the Kenai in the northwestern Gulf. And then for the Monday afternoon, that low just will sit there and it's going to begin to head southeastward. We'll start to see some snow developing later Monday and afternoon here across the northeastern Gulf Coast, spreading into the northern Panhandle. This area here will be pushing across the central eastern interior on Monday. And then as we go into Tuesday, here's what's left of the systems. We have the one low over the Gulf that's going to slide southeastward, so that's going to keep some snow going, especially in through areas of the inner channels with several inches of snow falling possibly in some areas. So stay tuned to see if there's any other advisories issued for this, but we expect the snow in through the Panhandle to linger perhaps into at least early Wednesday. Meanwhile, this high pressure is building in across the northern mainland and North Slope, Brooks Range. This is going to help clear things out. You get on the backside of the low more of a northeast flow, so this is going to bring in the colder air southward, so we expect a cooling trend across the mainland as we go through the mid and late week. And we'll be able to see that in the temperatures. So below freezing here in the Panhandle tonight. And as we look along the Alcan border, instead of temperatures a bit below zero, they're actually going to be above zero in the single digits. The milder air has pushed inland and will continue eastward overnight. Temperatures along Kuskokwim, Bristol Bays will not get much below 30. We have some sub-zero readings here along the far northwest coast there, Chukchi from Utqiagvik down through Point Lay. And then for Monday afternoon, notice some temperatures here on the west side of the Alaska Range will be creeping up to 32 degrees, say at like McGrath. And as that warmer air spreads east, that's what's causing the areas of light to occasionally moderate snow through the central eastern interior. And then we'll have that low begin to head southeastward off of the Panhandle coast. Temperatures may get a little above freezing, 36 at Sitka, 34 at Craig, but stay generally just below freezing there around Juneau, and a little wetter snow around Yakutat if it does indeed pan out that way. But otherwise, in through the Anchorage Bowl area, we may try to get temperatures up near 32 by Monday evening. But notice how much colder with skies clearing, some fresh snow cover along the north slope. Brooks Range readings getting well down below zero, some places even approaching maybe 30 below there at Anatuvik Pass. And then that colder air is going to be drawn southward across the mainland as we go through midweek. Temperatures will stop above freezing here along the outer Gulf coast here for the Panhandle, but stay just below freezing across the north and in through places like Wrangell or Petersburg. And then readings out along the Aleutians in the low 40s. Temperatures Tuesday afternoon, we do anticipate highs getting above freezing over the western southern part of the Panhandle, but flirting with the freezing mark there around Juneau and again around Petersburg. back to the west. It'll start to cool again here through the Susitna Valley. We're going to have, with the low circulation, northeasterly to northerly winds beginning to draw down that colder air over northern parts of the state. So that is why much of the mainland will enjoy fair skies and dry, cold weather here as we go through the Thanksgiving holiday. And that will be most noteworthy Tuesday afternoon, especially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And the Panhandle should clear out from northwest to southeast as we go through Wednesday. So again, conditions will be improving there just immediately prior to Thanksgiving. And temperature-wise, 6 to 10 day outlook. This is the very end of November, 30th through December 4th. The beginning of December is going to be a bit colder than normal, especially over the western half of the mainland. Areas of the northeastern Gulf Coast into the Panhandle may see temperatures average a little bit above normal. But with this kind of setup, it implies storm track is coming up out of the North Pacific into the Gulf. And then we have a drier, colder northeast to north flow over the mainland and along the west coast. So as a result, we expect precipitation to average above normal over the southeast mainland and also across much of the Panhandle as we head into early December. Meanwhile, with that drier, colder northeast to north flow from across northern and western areas of the mainland, we expect drier conditions, less in the way of precipitation falling there. So that's the way things are shaping up as we enter the beginning of December.